Hey guys, welcome back to My Next Million 2026 edition. Today I'm going to be reading you one of my newsletters and really committing to putting more content out in this next year. I started this YouTube channel about a year ago, just over a year ago. Recorded a few videos and then got busy working with clients one-on-one, which was epic. It looked like. So I'm going to be recording these videos on Loom, but check it out. And this video is all about what's in the title, why we're afraid of responsibility, and how to take it back in 2026. Okay, so the other day I was going for a run on Bondi Beach and I had a bit of a realization, and it was a personal realization, but it might be something that you can relate to. And that was that most of us don't actually avoid responsibility because we're lazy, unmotivated, or do not care. Is actually we avoid responsibility because the only fucking version that we've ever known is the kind that comes packaged with blame, shame, judgment, and guilt. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, growing up, taking responsibility or how I perceived it, which is my own perception, meant that I wasn't taking responsibility, that I'd stuffed up, that I was some kind of problem, that this was my fault, and I should actually feel bad about it. So obviously, as an adult, no wonder my nervous system learnt to avoid it. Now, I would say that I'm a very responsible person, but there were so many ways where responsibility just felt like forced on me. Now, for me, responsibility really came along with emotional pain and all of embarrassment, being wrong, being criticized, and feeling less than. So I guess I typically protect myself by deflecting, justifying, even blaming others, numbing things out, and delaying decisions, and ultimately staying small. Hence why I did so much work behind the scenes, one-on-one, beautiful work, incredible work that I'm so proud of, but I didn't put it up anywhere. I didn't make this content. I didn't do videos, didn't do YouTube. Now, what I did do is manage to do my best with where my nervous system was set to, but I just knew that was very limited. Now, all of this isn't because I'm not smart enough and you're not smart enough and so forth, but typically these things happen because somewhere along the way is we learned that responsibility or whatever it is got confused with self-punishment. Now, I'm explaining this because that was exactly my experience, because for me, again, responsibility meant that, if something went wrong, I must be the one who stuffed up. If life wasn't the way I wanted it to be, or someone else thought my life was, that I must be the problem. That's a very hard one to deal with in relationships. That I must be at fault and I must feel bad about it. And so I was living this almost guilt-like state as a badge of honor that I had to wear just to prove that I cared. And I just knew that wasn't the way. So if I'm talking about responsibility in this heavy kind of way, I'm not just speaking theoretically. This is my own lived experience. Now, something important I want to get across is not everyone's experience is like this, but if your experience is, that's who this message for. And if it's not, beautiful. Now, typically along the way, this is how it happens in a really subvert, coercive way. It's that someone demands that you take responsibility. And what they're really meaning is, and what they're really saying is, take the responsibility in the exact way I want you to. Now, for us, the receiver, the listener, we don't bloody know their way, right? So it can be one of the most confusing things ever, especially if we're bloody doing our best. And what this actually does is invalidates the fact that you may already be taking responsibility and just not performing it in the way that they expect, right? So that's basically how we get invalidated. Now, in regards to responsibility, true responsibility is chosen, but when it's demanded, it becomes compliance, and you don't have a form of ownership over it. It actually owns you. So again, for some people, responsibility has always meant maturity, growth, and self-leadership. If that's you, incredible. But I'm putting this video together for the people that were conditioned to believe that responsibility came and was met blame. And that's who I'm speaking to here, because here's the truth that I want you all to sit with. Responsibility is not blame. Blame says that this is your fault and you should feel bad, but responsibility says that this is your life, which means you have power here. Blame attacks your worth, and responsibility restores your power. And blame is about the past, responsibility is about the next moment. Blame shrinks you, responsibility expands you. And when you separate the two, something beautiful happens. You realize you can own your choices, your direction, and standards, and your outcomes without beating yourself up for where you've been or what you've been through, or what you've been exposed to, or you've validated by. And this is the moment when you have this little realization that real change begins. Because it doesn't begin from shame, it doesn't begin from force, it doesn't begin from pressure. It begins from an honest acknowledgement that where I am right now may not be where I want to be. What I might be doing may not be what I want to be doing. But I still get to choose what I do next. And that is responsibility. It's a form of self-leadership. It's courage wrapped up in respect for yourself and your future. And the moment you choose responsibility without the blame, without trying to be a victim, without even trying to blame anything or anyone or any time for where we are right now, just taking that responsibility, dropping the blame out of it. This allows you to stop being afraid of looking at your finances, to stop hiding from your health, stop avoiding the conversation, to stop delaying the dream. Because right now, I want you to have responsibility as a tool and not a weapon used against you. And then the moment you see it as a tool and something you can become friends with and something that you can choose and you do have a choice in, you then start to realize something even deeper, that taking responsibility is one of the highest forms of self-love. And that's why when someone demands you take responsibility and invalidates you and your way of taking responsibility, it robs you of that self-love and direction that you once had. So when you take responsibility without the blame, you allow that love to flow back in your life and you start to realize that I do matter enough to influence my own life. So if you've been avoiding taking responsibility over certain things because they're painful, you've been holding an emotional weight, I just want to remind you that there is actually nothing wrong with you. It's just maybe you were taught, just like I was, that responsibility was a painful thing. And so if anything out of this video, I want you to think maybe 2026 is the year you rewrite that definition. And I want you to understand that responsibility equals ownership with compassion, not shame, not self-attack, no drama, just honesty and the next right step, one step at a time. So if you've got something out of this, comment below, shoot me a DM. Happy to break it down even better. Or join my newsletter so you can actually read this. And I hope that this year you can choose to take responsibility without the blame, because that means you can move without the weight. And how we move through life is really what equates to our quality of life. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Dave Patabane, 3-time world champion in kettlebells, and I've done programs with over 10,000 people around Australia and around the world and written kids' books and all this kind of stuff. But none of that matters. It's just the fact that I don't give up. I love getting behind people, helping people, good people achieve their ultimate dream, their ultimate life, and recognizing that, because it's not so much what we have in life, it's what we recognize and what we appreciate that really allows it to sink in and to actually acknowledge, essentially. So if you like these videos, again, write a little comment. I've got plenty coming for you. This is a year to rock it. And this is my own version of taking responsibility without the blame and getting in the arena. Over and out. Oh, and by the way, to help 150 people who watch this channel, watch my socials, I'm putting together a little blueprint where you answer 5 questions and I'll send you back your 2026 blueprint. Now, this is a powerful technique that I use to set my year up for success, and you can utilize it too. So if you want to experience that, it's free, it's complimentary. I build every single one customized to you and your answers. And so if you're looking for a bit more direction, you want to do it from a space of choice and ownership and self-leadership rather than blame, condemning, and not being enough, I encourage you to hit the Google link below and it'll be in your inbox within 72 hours. Over and out. Pow.